Today's video is sponsored by War Thunder, but first, let's cook. Okay, getting the jump early, I see. There we go. First try. The Envoy shotgun is all the rage right now. People are trying to farm it out in time for the Edge of Fate launch. And in my last video, when I was reviewing the weapon, a lot of people asked, how do you farm this? And more specifically, how can you efficiently farm this without wasting too much time? Let's start with where the shotgun drops. The shotgun is only available through the second and third encounters, so immediately the first encounter is off limits. However, I do want to mention that there is the weekly focusing system where you can guarantee yourself a shotgun on each character once per week. So in that case, you would have to do a full dungeon run, assuming you focus the shotgun with the symbol system. And if you don't know what that is, I have a whole video on the focusing system for this dungeon, so check that out. I'll leave it at the end of this video or in the pinned comments. So that leaves us with the first boss and the second boss as our two choices. So there's one key difference between these two encounters. For Zoetic Loxat, the first boss, you only get one single drop for the encounter, although it is the general choice for most people because it's much easier than the final boss. Now, on the flip side, the final boss, while harder to one phase, would reward you with 2 drops at a time. So in basic terms, if you want to be an optimized team and you think you can one phase the final boss, or even just do like 80% in one phase and then finish him off in the first quarter of a second phase, then the final boss will be worth it to you. But I'm going to cover both bosses in the event that you are a team that's not as experienced and just want to have a free farm and go for the first boss. But first, do you guys know what Destiny has been missing for a long time? Proper, comprehensive vehicle combat, and none do it better than War Thunder. War Thunder is an intense, realistic vehicle combat game available on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, mobile phones, and the Nintendo Fridge. Okay, maybe that last one wasn't true. It's piloted by a massive community of over 70 million players with unmatched high-quality content, over 2,500 planes, ships, helicopters, and of course tanks, spanning from 10 major nations. If you're looking for realistic graphics and authentic sound effects to immerse you into combat, then this is the perfect choice for you. The game is also heavily optimized to deliver you a lag-free experience while still providing high FPS and impressive visuals even on older gaming setups. And speaking of setups, no additional hardware is required to play the game. All you need is just your mouse and keyboard, controller or phone, and you're set. Choose from 3 distinct modes in the game between arcade for fast-paced matchmaking, simulator mode for an unrestricted ultimate challenge, or realistic mode as the perfect middle ground. My personal recommendation would be simulator mode as I love a good challenge. But don't take my word for it, find out for yourself. Play War Thunder now with my custom links and get a free limited time bonus pack that includes an exclusive vehicle decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account, available to new players and returning players of 6 months. Exclusively available for PC and consoles. Click the links below to get started. Let's talk about the first boss now, Zoetic Loxat, the second encounter. So off the bat, you should know that almost nothing works on this boss. Surge mods don't work. Crit weapons don't work, or at least not properly. You'll get body shot damage even though it shows yellow numbers. A great fix, by the way. Anyway, moving on. So the one thing that does work on this boss is weaken effects. Specifically, I'm talking about weaken grenades. Not tether, not tractor cannon, just weaken grenades. So if you're on a prismatic character, take advantage of this and popping prismatic to have multiple weaken nades in a damage phase. Since crit weapons just suck on this boss, you want to bring weapons that do optimized damage without having to actually land a crit. Because of this, the #1 undisputed choice for this encounter is going to be Anarchy, because you can stick all 4 of the bosses at once. Anarchy doesn't require you to hit crits to do max damage, so it's perfect for this boss. Now, if you don't have Anarchy, some decent but worse replacements would be Sleeper Simulant, because it still has high body shot damage even if you don't get a crit, and then also Grand Overture. Grand Overture you have to stack up a bit over time, but it's still a good option when you actually get those 20 volleys off. A good secondary option to complement your heavy is going to be Mountaintop. It does not require any crits, and you could use either the newer version from Into the Light or the collection version and still just shoot the boss in the face, although one with recombination from the latest version would be ideal. Now, as for characters, I'll be playing various classes in footage here, showing you all three, but the main breakdown is going to be Warlock. You should be either on Well of Radiance or Chaos Reach Arc Warlock, depending if you have one Warlock or two. For Titans, you're just kind of stuck on Bull Charge, but that's not a bad thing because Bull Charge is the dumbest thing in the world right now. Between having the best damage super in the game and then Bull Charge barricades giving people free Bull Charge and free lightning strikes on everything, this is just a silly combination. You should not be playing anything else for Titan. Lastly, if you bring a Hunter, Tether is useless, Golden Gun can't crit, so your best option is actually going to be Storm's Edge. Believe it or not, Storm's Edge is actually nutty on this boss because each strike that you do, you hit two bosses at once, assuming you aim between them. And you can do this on Prismatic, so you can throw a Weakened Smoke onto one of the bosses and then smack them for bonus damage. Quick edit here, I should also mention for Thunder Crash, you would do the same thing. You would hit in between the two Shriekers, but you don't hit the wall. You actually hit the inner side of either Shrieker. That way, your Thunder Crash is hitting two Shriekers at once instead of just one. If you're a Chaos Reach Warlock, you can start on the right side of the arena and then aim your Chaos Reach on the bottom half of the Shrieker and then aim straight to hit multiple Shriekers at once to do massive damage. After using your offensive supers, you head back to where the Well and or Barricade are and then start spamming your weapons and proccing Bull Charge as much as you can. Ideally, you also want to stick the bosses with Anarchy prior to popping your super, that way you're still doing passive damage as you're running back to the Barricade and Well. But once you do, it's basically stick each boss with Anarchy or use whatever heavy that you have, and then once you're out, you would switch to your Mountaintop and then keep shooting the boss with that. If you are using Anarchy, then obviously you can stick each boss once, then swap to Mountaintop for a little bit until swapping back to Anarchy to reapply them on the bosses. So overall, this is pretty chill and pretty easy once you get the method down, but the one downside is you only get one drop, and it's super annoying to do the encounter to only see like a 59 stat armor piece drop instead of a shotgun. Now on the flip side, let's talk about the final boss of the dungeon, Karev. The benefit of fighting this oversized gremlin is that you can get 2 drops in one encounter clear as opposed to just one in Zoetek. The downside is, it's much harder to one-phase this boss than it is the Zoetek lock set. Now for reference, I timed a clear at Zoetek and then our one-phase at Karev that you're going to be seeing or already saw in the intro, and the difference was Zoetek was roughly 2:15 overall in time versus Karev, which was 3 minutes on the dot. So Zoetek, 45 seconds faster, would give you 1 drop, but if you can consistently one-phase Karev, you would get 2 drops for just an additional 45 seconds. And even if you do not one phase, if you leave the boss very low from the first phase and then go start a second phase and only need like a quarter of it, let's say it would take you another minute to get back to the damage phase and then kill the boss. In total, that would be 4 minutes for 2 drops versus Zoetek lock set. If everything goes ideally, you would still be at 4:30 for getting 2 drops. So not only are you 30 seconds behind on just one Karev kill, but you also have to keep in mind the load times that you have to wait for going to orbit, switching the checkpoints, switching characters, and so on. You're doing that twice for Zoetek versus Karev, where you only did it once. But don't get me wrong, I understand a lot of people just simply hate the final boss because he acts like he's a possessed crackhead and you need an exorcist just to get him off the walls and to stand still on the middle floor during DPS. So in that event, if you want to farm Zoetek just for simplicity's sake, I understand. But if you want to be a gamer, here's how you can one-phase and do a quick run. First off, bring people who know how to read. That's not a joke, that's literally what you have to do. You have to read the wheel and immediately know where you have to go, where you have to shut off or shut on. You're not going to want to do the Grim mechanic to just find the Grim first and then know what to do and blah, 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 blah. No. You get somebody to read the wheel, and immediately you know, hey, those are the lies, those are the truth, we know where to go. Bang. Now, if you're subjugator hunting, for the love of God, bring a fusion rifle with you. If you're going to the left, then bring Scatter Signal or any strand fusion and cook him with particle reconstruction. If you're going to the right side, bring Riptide and cook him because it's a stasis fusion. And even if the affinity bonuses don't count for strand and stasis, particle reconstruction with a fusion rifle still cook the gators either way. For DPS, I'm going to be blunt. You want 1 Warlock and 2 Titans. Sorry, Hunters, but you're basically useless here. I like playing Hunter, but they just have no purpose in this fight. Tether is already taken care of because of particle reconstruction, and then Titans just do way more damage than Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun because Curious Thunder Crash is still bugged to this day. And even if that wasn't a thing, the fact that you can pop multiple barricades to give you passive damage through maximum Bolt Charge stacks over and over and over again is just way more helpful than having a Hunter. So there's two things to mention here. Number one, Divinity is not used because it screws over your particle reconstruction and gives you 15% instead of 27, so you don't want to do that. So just aim for the head instead. Number two, you may have noticed I said nothing about grenades or any other abilities like that. And that is because if you throw grenades or anything AoE oriented at the boss, the potential to him spazzing out and running across the arena is heavily increased, at least in my experience. If you don't throw a bunch of stuff at him, he typically will stand still most of the time. You know, you can't control him 100% of the time. Sometimes he's just going to be a jackass. But generally speaking, he'll stand still for a majority of the time. As I mentioned previously, this is not an easy one phase. You actually have to aim your shot and be paying attention the entire time, whereas Lockset, you can kind of turn your brain off during damage and still be fine. But if you want to be optimized, you would go for the one phase on the final boss and save a little bit of time. Or like one phase and a quarter of a second phase, ideally. And that is how I would farm the Thunder Doctor in Dungeon if I'm trying to get the unvoiced God Roll. Also, if for some reason you don't know what the God Roll is that I'm referring to, it is redirection and bait and switch on the Shoddy. If you haven't already seen my DPS and build video about this, I'll have it at the end of this video if you want to check that out. Once again, thanks to War Thunder for sponsoring today's video. Make sure to check out War Thunder now for free on PC, PlayStation, Xbox, or on mobile. Use my links in the pinned comment or description to sign up, and remember, new or returning players after 6 months will also receive a bonus pack with the exclusive Vehicle Decorator, Eagle of Valor, 100,000 Silver Lions, and 7 days of premium account. Exclusively available for PC and consoles. Hopefully this helps some of you guys farm out that shotgun. If you did enjoy the video, please consider subscribing today. It does help the channel grow and is much appreciated. If you want to go the extra mile, you can leave a like and or comment below as well. If you don't know what to leave as a comment, you can leave unvoiced as the comment. Thanks for watching. Catch you next time.